It's 3 ways I can think of off the top of my head that a person could peak in high school. First, you got the generic way, you know what I'm saying? You might have been popular for some reason, like maybe you was tall or some shit. Maybe you was good at basketball, football, maybe you was a cheerleader. Maybe you just a pretty girl. Maybe you had the most reds in your class. Like you was well known and recognized around your school for something. But whatever it was, when you got out of high school, that shit didn't work for you no more. A lot of y'all might have seen some people like this, you know, after high school, a lot of them started to look really rough. All that popular shit, being tall, being pretty, having red, all that shit don't pay the bills, bro. I mean, they don't at all. The second type of person to peak in high school is a scholar. It's some people that get straight A's every year. They probably made honor roll, probably got fucking valedictorian or some shit. They got the top of the class every year and all that shit. But they kind of structure their self-esteem around their grades, basically having better grades than everybody in the class. So it's like if they get a 98 instead of 101%, it's a terrible day for them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting here with my 75%. Then after high school, they probably end up getting accepted into this prestigious college, or maybe they don't. Maybe they end up going to a community college or just a regular campus. So wherever they go, they not getting straight A's no more, you know what I'm saying? They not at the top of their class. They a little nigga now. I mean, they probably not failing. Some people do go from high school getting all straight A's and then get to college and they flunk out completely. For most people, I feel like they just kind of, they grades drop a little bit because the work gets harder, bro. It's probably a lot more to keep up with. You probably underestimated the fuck out of it too, because your pride was so high. Like, I'm at the top of my class. Like, I'm gonna get that college work. It should be a different ball game. And the third way that a person could peak in high school is actually how I peaked in high school. Maybe your high school experience wasn't the craziest, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't the worst, but not the best. Maybe you didn't really allow yourself to enjoy high school as much as you maybe should have. Mainly because you was really like in such a rush to get out of high school. Like, you was just trying to get the fuck out of there, just like me. I can't even sit here and say like my high school experience was just like, it was terrible, because it wasn't. I had great memories, but for whatever reason, when I was in high school, bro, I hated that shit with a passion, bro. Like, I could not wait to leave. But what most of these people realize when they get out of high school, including me, they tend to realize what they had that they will never get back. You know what I'm saying? Disclaimer, this does not mean I want to go back to high school. I know I do a lot of complaining about life after high school, you know what I'm saying? But every day I wake up, I'm grateful that I had to go to school. But with that being said though, for the first few months after you graduate, you probably gonna be kind of like a phase where you kind of almost miss school. Like, even some of my friends that I talked to like a little bit after we graduated was saying that they missed school a little bit. But I guess people just start to like reminisce and think about all the memories they made, all the memories they could have made, and most of all the freedom they had, you know what I'm saying? All the lack of responsibility that they had back then. Because back then in high school, that was the worst thing you ever experienced at that point in time. You like, damn, I gotta fucking write papers and read books and fucking write a paragraph about it. Like, I don't care about this book. I gotta figure out how to do this math. I gotta do homework. I gotta go to school and I gotta go to school and come home and do homework. It's still some bullshit, I ain't gonna lie. But I guess my brain in high school wasn't really open to the fact that it can be worse. It can be worse than what it is. Like, it's worse stuff in the world to deal with than writing papers and writing paragraphs and getting good grades, you know what I'm saying? It's way more scarier stuff to worry about than that. But only then did I realize that, you know what I'm saying? So for some reason, I feel like I didn't clearly explain how I peaked in high school. So basically, I went to high school 4 years, rested, just to look back and realize, damn, that was the peak of my existence so far. That's the key word. All right, so the part of the video that y'all probably was waiting on. Why do we all feel like we peaked in high school?
What do you mean we? Nintendo? No, nigga, we as an us.
Peaked in high school was kind of like this meme. Oh, he peaked in high school. He was a popular kid. But in reality, bro, it's way more people that feel like they peaked in high school than we realize. In my opinion, I feel like people feel like this because they haven't mastered this stage of life yet. Like, for example, like when you first got to middle school, you was a little 6th grader. Maybe you got picked on. If you didn't get picked on, you probably was scared that you was gonna get picked on because you was a little nigga. You fresh meat. Then before you knew it, you was a 7th grader, and now you're an 8th grader. You a big dog again. Now you know all the ins and outs of middle school. You know what I'm saying? You showing the 6th and 7th graders to class, all that type of shit. And then before you know it, you a freshman. Now you a little nigga. You fresh meat again. You gotta build up your reputation all over again. Nobody know who the fuck you is. Nobody care who you are. Then you become a sophomore. You know a little bit more. Junior. By the time you a senior, you a big dog. You stumping through the hallways like a big dog. Cause you've been there for 4 years. You know what's going on. You know the ins and outs of everything. You know where all the classrooms at. You cool all the teachers. And then guess what happened when you get out of high school, right? The same cycle gonna repeat itself. Whether you go to college or whether you go straight to the workforce, the same cycle gonna repeat itself. Whatever you do in life, whatever you start, you're gonna have to build yourself up. But at this point, it's way more intense than we ever experienced, especially if you're going straight from 12th grade to the real world. You're going straight to get a job. You're going straight to look for a career. At that point in your life, for most people at that point in their life, as far back as they can remember, they've been in school. So the only thing they got to stress over is grades and high school drama and shit like that, which those are valid stress factors. It gets worse, bro. It just gets worse, bro. But the same way your whole life, you've been going from level to level to level to the next level to the next level. It gets harder. It gets harder. So fucking immature, bro. You know what I'm saying? The material, whatever you doing, whatever you learn, it gets more challenging. And that's just life, bro. You know what I'm saying? You gotta continue to adapt. So obviously if you a senior, maybe you're at the top of your class, maybe you're the most popular person, maybe you're not. Maybe you're just a regular NPC at your school, I don't know. But once you become a senior, it's like you know what you're doing. You feel pretty comfortable at your school, you know what I'm saying? Like of course, if you coming from this place where you comfortable, you know your way around, you know everybody, you cool with everybody, people like you like them. And then before you know it, life just spit you back out to this place where you kind of lost and you don't know what you're doing. People don't know you, you don't know them, you don't like people, they don't like you. It's not as easy to find people that like you. And now you basically got to start from square one. The same way you was when you was a freshman, the same way it was when you went to 6th grade, the same way it was and even you probably was a kindergarten. So of course for that period of time right after high school, for most people it's probably gonna feel like a down slope in your life. Like damn, like I just had all these friends, I was getting all these good grades, I was getting all these girls, and then all that shit get cut off and your confidence drop and your mental health drop and life gets harder. So your quality of life altogether just gonna go down until you figure it out. You're the same way you've been doing your whole life, bro. You know how to figure stuff out. You've been figuring stuff out and leveling up your whole life subconsciously. But the only difference with this phase of your life is that it's gonna take a lot more conscious effort to prepare yourself into consistent motion and stay in consistent motion. Like I said in the last video, when you in school, you kind of don't gotta put all your effort in to still get to the next level, to the next grade. So you can cheat your whole way through school if you want to. It's gonna be a lot harder to teach your way through real life. You're gonna go through a freshman phase of life, you're gonna go through a sophomore phase, a junior phase, and a senior phase. But you probably feel like you peaked in high school because you in the freshman phase of your life, figuring stuff out, probably creating new friend groups. In other words, I just thought about this out of the top of my head, like right now. Your life is gonna go from automatic mode to manual mode. You can get straight D's all throughout your high school career and still graduate to the next level. It don't matter. Or you can get straight A's and do the same thing. That's an automatic mode. But when you get to manual mode, what your life looks like is strictly based off of what you do and the results you get. So at this point, you can no longer do D- quality work and have an A+ quality life. So now what y'all should be doing with the information I just gave y'all is figuring out what grade or phase of life you're in. Now, obviously, when I say grades, it's figuratively speaking. But as I'm describing each grade, they might not match up perfectly with your life situation, but just go with the one that match the best. I feel like once you know what grade you in life, it kind of helps with that feeling behind everybody like, oh damn, but that nigga, I graduated in the same class as him, but I'm at my mama's house and he got an apartment or he got a car or he got more than what I have at this point. Now you can kind of just look at it as like, okay, we not in the same grade, so what do I have to do to graduate myself to his grade? So the freshman phase of life I kind of already talked about. It's kind of when you basically new to everything. You haven't really decided what path you're gonna go down. Like you probably might be just working little part-time jobs, maybe a full-time job, but you haven't really found like a long-term career or something like that. Sophomore year is kind of similar to freshman year, but except you just over that hump of being new to everything. Like now you kind of got a little bit more experience under your belt. You ain't made crazy progress yet, but at least you probably done found that thing, like that business model or that job or career that you can see being a potential long-term option. And that's when you finally get to the point in your life where you don't be like, fuck, my life is going nowhere, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. Now you can actually see some type of vision for your life, whatever that may be. I don't know. The junior phase, I haven't even made it to the junior phase yet. I would say the junior phase of life is once you got kind of like your foundation all set up. Like now you chose your career, you're in your career, you know what I'm saying? Or you whatever business model you want to do, whatever business you want to do, you in it, you doing it, it's working. Obviously you probably not a multi-millionaire, you probably not retiring your family and no shit like that just yet, but at least now you at a point where for the first time ever you can be completely independent. Like your parents not paying your phone bill, your parents not spotting you for money when you need it, because you don't need your parents. I mean, obviously you live under your own roof, you pay your own bills, you pay your phone bill, every bill, you do your own taxes. You basically are a completely grown person at this point. Now that you have a job, a consistent salary, or consistent money you making for your business that you can live off of, now you basically just strictly focus on just building your life up from there. So even though you've been working your whole life, I would still call this kind of like the working phase of your life, because that's really all you doing at this point. Like you're not really trying to put something in place or figure out your path. You found your path and now you're just working and getting money. In basic terms, obviously you probably doing other shit. Like I can't perfectly describe all y'all lives, but you know what I'm saying, I'm just speaking in general. But basically for junior year, you're making money consistently, you're supporting yourself, and you're independent. Like you kind of at the phase you can settle down a little bit, not too much, because you can fall back down to a lower grade. Like you're not just a junior because it's a 11th grade in your ID. You're a junior because of what you did to get to this level of life. So if you stop doing what's required to maintain this, you will fall back down. No ifs, ands, or buts. Now the senior phase of life, most people don't make it to this phase. Imagine how your senior year of high school is supposed to go. All the previous years, you got all your work done, your GPA is where it's supposed to be, you don't have no missing credit, you caught up on everything. All the classes that you're supposed to take to graduate, you took them already. By the time you get to senior year, bro, you probably gonna take like 2 real classes and you probably gonna have all electives. You chilling, you just waiting to get the fuck out of there. And when I say most people don't reach this level of life, it's in school and in real life. Like even me, like I was slacking off my whole school year, so my senior year, I didn't get to just chill. I had to make shit up and I had to be scrambling at the last second trying to figure shit out. Like how most people gonna end up in real life. They ain't been taking their life serious, and then they get to the point in life and they supposed to be retired, chilling, hanging with their grandchildren and shit. They scrambling, still working at FedEx. Like they don't really have nothing in place that allows them to start working. Like that's really the terrifying reality. Like most people think for some reason that you're just gonna get to a point in life where you don't gotta work no more. Bro, if you get to a certain age where you can't work and you don't have any money for yourself to live off of, you're fucked. Like, what are you gonna do? Hopefully your kids can take care of you or some shit. Like, now what the senior phase is supposed to look like, in my opinion, I feel like it's supposed to be at a season where you getting the fruits of your labor at this point. You didn't build your business up, or you didn't been working on your career, and now maybe you got investments put in place so where you can live off those investments and you don't gotta work no more. Or maybe you didn't stacked up so much money that you can live off it. Whatever the case is, like I said, most people won't make it to this point in life. This probably sound like some unrealistic ass shit. Like I said, most people won't make it to this phase of life because it's just not common, bro. Most people gonna be working until they die. But me personally, at this point in my life, I would rather have some type of business or corporation or long-term investment that I put in place that allows me to not have to work for money no more. I want to be able to enjoy the last portion of my life how I'm supposed to. And you should too, you know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all follow my Instagram, like the video, subscribe, we out.